Hey, Jeannie,
Yeah, Brew.
who's our guest on the Energy Nerd Show today?
Well, today we're so happy to have Jeremy McDiarmid. Hey, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
What's up, guys? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, so glad you're here. I know we're going to be talking about some interesting grid stuff today and how it's so problematic and what we can do about it. But can you first tell us just a little bit about what you're up to these days?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's great to be here and awesome to see the both of you and the whole team here.
Likewise.
I'm Jeremy McDiarmid. I work for Advanced Energy United. We are a national trade association of clean energy companies trying to get to 100% clean energy. And It is, as you indicated, an interesting moment in time filled with challenges and opportunities. And because I'm an optimist, I choose the opportunities side of the equation. And so what I wanted to come talk about today is the need to sort of do two things to the grid. One, we need to build more infrastructure, but we also need to make the grid more efficient, and we need to improve the existing grid today. And there's plenty of opportunity to do that. And some states are actually taking some important steps along that way. So that's my mission today, and really grateful for the opportunity to chat.
Okay.
Great to have you. Do you want to start with the building more infrastructure part?
Yeah, and is that going to help us with those long interconnection queues and things like that? Or are there other advantages?
All the things. So we are shifting towards electricity. The demand for electricity is growing, and our grid has not kept up. We need to be building more infrastructure to move electricity from where it's generated to where it is consumed. And we can't let up on that. We need to continue to build new transmission lines, new substations, new clean energy generation. But that's hard, and it's long, and it's getting harder, particularly for clean energy, considering the sort of policy changes that are happening. That's the unfortunate news. The fortunate news is that there are steps to do this. We see states coming together to do better planning for transmission, to make investments, and to improve that interconnection process. And I think technology has a long way to go with that. At the same time, we need to make sure that we're using all the technologies to make the existing grid more efficient. And there's a lot out there, but we got to keep up, and it's complicated, and it takes digging into details, and that's what we're doing.
Well, I'm just really excited to hear that people are working together on this, because I feel like we want to give our listeners some hope. And, things feel so divided. But if you can get multi-state groups talking about transmission coordination, that's exciting.
It is exciting, and you have to temper that excitement with a sort of healthy dose of impatience, because these are long processes and they can go sideways in a number of ways. But we have seen 9 states, including 5 New England states, come together on transmission planning, and they just issued an RFI for transmission solutions to sort of get projects in the pipeline. And that's sort of an important piece of the big infrastructure. On the flip side, what I wanted to talk about today is the New York Grid of the Future docket, which is happening right now at the Public Services Commission of New York, looking at grid flexibility and flexible resources, trying to make sure that we are squeezing as much out of the existing grid as possible. And we are working with utilities, not traditionally our partners, to help guide the commission in the process. And so just at the beginning of this month, we filed joint principles with Con Edison between our members, clean energy companies who are service providers in this space, and Con Edison to help guide the commission in making sure that this proceeding reaches the potential.
Okay. Well, we want to hear all about that. And first, my question is, are we hearing about this because New York is actually the leader, or are there other reasons why we're talking about New York?
New York is a leader. I wouldn't say they are the leader, but they are putting a lot of effort into exploring flexible resources. One of the graphics I brought today is a report put out by Brattle, shows the potential of grid flexibility in New York. And, by 2040, the potential shows that, 20% of the capacity in New York can be met by flexible resources. And this is a variety of different things. It's not just one silver bullet. It's the silver buckshot approach.
That's a lot, 20%.
Yeah,
Wow.
by 2040.
By 2040.
So can you tell us more, like, what are these technologies? Are they kind of old things that we've been doing that we know about? Are they new innovations or some combination?
Some of it is the old stalwarts like energy efficiency and demand response, where we are making our buildings more efficient, making our equipment more efficient, insulating our homes, and using less electricity. Some of it is coordinating and aggregating a variety of resources to respond to grid demand. And a perfect example is sort of when it's hot, you see air conditioners go up a degree or two, or refrigerators cycle on and off. And if you do that collectively, and we have the technology to do that, you get results that save money and keep the lights on.
And you call that demand response as well.
That's demand response, and it's the aggregation of the big term is VPPs, or virtual power plants,
Okay.
and that's just a suite of technologies that work together to essentially create space on the grid.
Okay.
And are there big new loads that need to be flexible?
There are big new loads, some of which are flexible and some of which are not. We hear a lot about AI and data centers. We have members who are building data centers and have clean energy commitments, and we are trying to work with them to make sure that their business imperative is met with clean energy. And some of that can be met by energy storage and flexible loads, and some of it needs to sort of be 24/7. And so that's the challenge.
Mm. So some new renewables.
New renewables for sure. Solar backed by storage is the quickest way for us to get more capacity. We hear a lot about natural gas. We hear a lot about nuclear. Those are not tomorrow technologies. Those are long periods away. And so what we're seeing is that solar has a huge role in keeping the lights on. Just at the end of June, there was a heat wave that behind the meter solar, which isn't on the grid, pushed the price of electricity down and helped keep lights on in New England.
That's amazing. So that's solar that's generating when the sun is out. And do we have enough storage to kind of leverage that?
We have a lot of storage. We don't have enough.
Okay.
And I think that's the challenge for states. And I think states are where the action is right now, to keep the momentum going for solar and storage at a time where the federal government is singling out storage and solar and wind, unfortunately, because they are domestic, reliable, proven, job creating, technologies that are right here and easier to put up and faster to put up than other technologies.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about states for a minute, because you said states. The thing is, coordination definitely helps, but we know politics are not even across states. How much can any individual state control for the grid? I mean, the grid spans so many borders.
It depends.
Okay.
But you look at New England, there are 6 states within the grid, and the states have a strong voice. They need to work together, and they need to make sure that they're sort of understanding that their borders don't stop their interests. They see that prices are affecting everybody. Energy affordability is an issue for people in New Hampshire, just like it is for people in Connecticut. And so the more that the states can work together to build smart transmission, to procure clean energy resources together to create economies of scale, the better ratepayers across the region are going to be. Then you got to take it up another level to other sort of grid regions like New York and PJM, where again there's the opportunity to do joint planning, find those economies of scale, and work towards a common interest where if you make the investments at the right scale and you sort of set the rules of the road, everybody can benefit from these types of investments in a way that they could not do if they were working by themselves.
You hit the nail on the head. Energy affordability is on everyone's mind. And so I think that people worry that new technologies bring kind of new tariffs, new costs. And how would you talk about the difference between, again, the slow build of a new gas turbine or luckily I don't think we have coal in Massachusetts anymore, but in some places they're extending the life of these coal plants. Does that play into what you're thinking about at all?
100%. It's penny wise and pound foolish to sort of prop up these uneconomic fossil plants that are going away for economic reasons just as much as they're going for environmental reasons. We need to make investments. We need to make smart investments, and I think that's why squeezing as much out of the existing infrastructure is important because, for example, advanced transmission technologies can be applied to existing transmission lines to squeeze more capacity out of the current footprint. You don't have to go through permitting and siting. You don't have to pay for more steel. You can do it quicker, and you can get, double the capacity through advanced conductors. You can get sort of better performance out of transmission lines by using sensors to track the line ratings and drive more power through when it's not stressed, and steer power around when it is stressed. And these are the technologies that are giving me hope and helping to create that sort of dynamic grid that we need for the future.
So it sounds like some of that is adding new devices or a new, reconductoring or something, but then other parts of it are just using the existing stuff more flexibly and smarter to deliver more power over the same equipment.
That's exactly right. And we have to be smart about it, and we have to have our regulators look at the numbers and make sure that these are cost-effective investments. But we can't be scared of technology. We can't be afraid to adapt the regulatory environment so that we are making it easier for flexible resources to connect to the grid, making it more economic for folks to build and permit solar farms. And we're seeing some of that. It's incremental. It's brick by brick. But we have to have a healthy impatience if we're going to get to where we need to get.
Panel by panel.
Panel by panel.
Let's do it. So talk a little bit more about the report. What did you learn, and what do you want our listeners to take away, in addition to the little bits you gave us before?
Yeah, I think the report and the overall sort of proceeding is a huge opportunity for New York to lead and show that flexible resources, whether they be VPPs, solar and storage, demand response, or good old energy efficiency, have a huge and important role to play in making sure the grid is delivering reliable, affordable, and clean power. But the proof is in the deployment. And so what we want to see the commission do is create programs and develop strategies and value streams for these resources that reflect the value that they provided the grid, so that we can get these things out in practice.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
It does. It sounds good.
Thanks for being on the show, Jeremy.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's amazing.